to say something about the horrific situation in Gaza, where the level of suffering, innocent children being bombed again, is utterly intolerable.
Yesterday, Minister Smodrick even spoke of Israeli forces cleansing Gaza. We must call this what it is. It is extremism. It is dangerous. It is repellent. It is monstrous, and I condemn it.
Non ha avuto il coraggio di condannare ciò che è di fronte agli occhi del mondo, uno sterminio, una deportazione, una pulizia etnica. Di questo lei si deve vergognare di fronte al popolo italiano.
Oi, if you still reckon Israel's the bloody victim in all this, you've either been living under a rock or you're too cooked on mainstream media lies to see what's actually going on. Let me break it to you straight. The world is finally waking the hell up, and Israel's PR mask is slipping off faster than a drunk bloke's sunnies at schoolies. Now, before you come at me with your pre-programmed talking points, nah mate, this isn't some anti-Semitic rant or a bloody tinfoil hat conspiracy. This is about facts. Raw, brutal, and gut-wrenching truth. And if you can't handle that, hit pause and go back to watching the ABC tell you everything's peachy, while kids are getting bombed into oblivion. Before we dive into the lies, bombs, and betrayal, where world leaders condemn Israel by day and arm them by night, and children in Gaza pay the ultimate price, smash that like button, like you're smashing the mask off global hypocrisy. Subscribe if you're done with media silence and double standards, and grab the Promise Never Delivered Truth shirt, links in the description. So here's the deal. While Anthony Albanese's busy playing SimCity with his fantasy of 1.2 million homes and tradies disappearing into thin air like it's a bloody magic trick, there's a real war going on, not just of bombs and bullets, but of hearts and minds. And guess what? Israel's losing both. Big time. Even their own cheer squad, Britain, Canada, France, have finally grown a backbone. They've come out swinging with condemnations, talking sanctions, and calling Israel's actions what they bloody are: monstrous, extremist, and straight-up ethnic cleansing. When was the last time you heard Western nations publicly shame their mate Israel? Exactly. You've got kids, literal toddlers, dying from sepsis because hospitals are running without basic bloody medicine.
Losing children left, right and centre from avoidable deaths. These are avoidable deaths. I lost a 4-year-old 2 nights ago from an overwhelming sepsis that in the UK would not have happened because I would have had the facilities to run basic tests.
A British surgeon on the ground, not some keyboard warrior, says, "These are avoidable deaths." A 4-year-old, gone. From something you could treat with Panadol and a drip back in Brisbane. But nah, Israel's locked down aid for 2 whole months. 2 bloody months. Then, just as the UN screamed that 14,000 kids could die if nothing changes in the next 48 hours, Israel opens the gates and lets in a few token aid trucks. Wow. Cheers for the crumbs. 2 million people fed off the back of a few dusty trucks? That's not humanitarian work. That's PR damage control. That's look busy for the cameras while we launch Operation Gideon behind the curtain. Oh yeah, Operation Gideon. Sounds biblical, right? That's because it's not just a military operation, it's a full-blown holy war on a trapped population. Israel's own ministers are saying it. Smodrich, the finance bloke, literally said Gaza will be entirely destroyed. The population will leave in great numbers. That's not military strategy. That's ethnic cleansing. And let's not sugarcoat it, they bloody mean it. They hit 670 locations in 5 days. That's not precision. That's carpet bombing. 4 hospitals attacked, a school, a bloody school, where families were hiding, blown up.
Last night, Israel attacked a school in Gaza City where people were sheltering, killing, according to eyewitnesses, at least 8 children.
Eyewitnesses said at least 8 kids were killed in that blast. What kind of democracy targets schools? And here's the kicker. Jordan and Egypt, who usually stay out of the mess, have said no. They refuse to take in Palestinians because they know what that means. If people leave Gaza, they won't be allowed back. It's population removal. It's making way for a land grab dressed up as self-defense. And any Aussie with half a brain and a shred of moral fibre should be able to see that. But what's the Albanese government doing while this genocide unfolds? Playing house? SimCity? Talking tradie shortages and fake housing booms while staying silent on one of the worst humanitarian disasters in modern history. But we get it. It's all about mateship, right? Can't upset Uncle Sam. Speaking of which, let's talk about the Yanks. Trump's been gallivanting across the Middle East, raking in trillions in weapons deals and oil packs, and didn't want Israel causing a fuss while he locked in his cash. And now that the checks are signed, guess what? Israel's been given the green light. Coincidence? Not bloody likely. And all you Trump is anti-establishment crowd, yeah, pull the other one. If he's so anti-Israel, why are they getting US weapons faster than we get a Macca's drive-through order? Same goes for the UK. While they're standing up in Parliament wagging fingers at Israel, Declassified UK has caught them flying out spy planes to help Israel acquire targets. That's right, public condemnation, private assistance, the classic Western double act. And for those still saying, but Israel has the right to defend itself. Against what, exactly? Kids with sepsis? Women giving birth under rubble? Boys with stones against drones? Nah, mate. That line's dead in the water. You want to talk terrorism? Okay. Let's talk about state-sponsored terror. Bombing UN shelters? Attacking hospitals? Starving civilians? And proudly announcing plans to control all parts of Gaza.
יש התקרבות, אנחנו הולכים להשתלט על כל שטחי הרצועה. זה מה שאנחנו הולכים לעשות.
That's not defense. That's dictatorship. And let's not forget, 53,000 people are dead. That's not collateral. That's slaughter. That's a stadium full of innocent people wiped out. And all we get from our leaders is lip service, while weapons still get approved, ships still sail, and deals still get signed behind closed doors. But I'll tell you who isn't silent. The people. Aussies are waking up. Mass protests across Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane. Thousands chanting for Palestine. First Nations mob standing in solidarity. Calling out colonialism because they've bloody lived it. And you know what? It's about time. Because this isn't just about Gaza. This is about power. This is about imperialism. This is about governments picking and choosing whose lives matter based on who writes the biggest checks. And if you still think this is a war of equals, then mate, you've been conned. You've been spoon-fed propaganda since day dot. You've been taught to feel guilty the moment you say the word Palestine. You've been told that speaking up means you're anti-this or anti-that. But what about being pro-truth? Pro-justice? Pro-basic bloody human decency? So here's the truth. Palestine doesn't need your pity. They need your voice, your courage, your refusal to look away. Because silence is complicity, and complicity is bloody dangerous. The prayers of the oppressed are powerful. And just like at Badr, when 313 Muslims stood against 1,000, faith, not firepower, turned the tide. The world might feel stacked against Gaza right now, but history shows us. Empires fall, and Allah never forgets. So if you've watched this far, don't just scroll away, smash that like button, like you're smashing every coward politician who stayed silent. Subscribe if you're done being gaslit by governments and media more concerned with saving face than saving lives. And if you really want to wear your truth on your chest, grab the Promise Never Delivered Truth tee. Links in the description. Speak up, stand tall, and remember, being on the side of Palestine doesn't make you radical, it makes you human. Until next time.